Hi, my name is Greg Peters. I'm one of the business development managers for CAD Space in Queensland. I hope you're enjoying seeing what's new in SolidWorks 2022. I've probably spoken to many of you on the phone, may have even met some of you in person, but if not, this is what I look like. Hopefully you're enjoying Innovation Day and welcome to Day 2. Today you're going to see some new features of simulation and flow simulation. SolidWorks Simulation 2022 has been enhanced to improve the performance and increase the accuracy of your simulations. When comparing Simulation 2021 against 2022, we found when using new features around bonded contacts in 2022, the results were achieved 25% faster. Flow simulation has also been enhanced to increase the performance when running transient studies. These are just some of the features that you're going to see today. Hopefully you keep enjoying the Innovation Day videos, and hopefully I can meet some of you next year in person at Innovation Day 2023. Thank you.
Hi and welcome to SolidWorks 2022 simulation. SolidWorks Simulation 2022 adds new capabilities and the simplify analysis setup, improve performance and increase the accuracy of your simulation. The internal frame of Nemo personnel submarine contains a large number of bonded contacts. Solving time for this geometry is now over 25% faster than the simulation 2021. The Nemo submarine utilizes a specialized handwheel to secure the hatch while diving. Engaging the latch fingers requires a minimum of 500 Newton of contact force. This would ensure almost any passenger capable of applying enough torque to properly seal the shaft craft. Taking advantage of cyclic symmetry by cutting the model to 1/3, we will save setup and solve time. The model can further be simplified by removing a tie rod and replacing it with the type of virtual connector. The linkage rod connector accepts either a cylindrical face or vertices to represent the rod ends. The end condition can be defined as whether a fully rigid, pivotal, even spherical. We will select the cylindrical faces and spherical end conditions to properly simulate the function of end tie rod. We can even choose from several cross-section shapes and define section dimensions. SolidWorks 2022 now default to the powerful blended curvature based measure, which can now accept mesh control value outside of the maximum and minimum global size range. This means you can refine portion the mesh in any region without limitation, hoping you reach the optimum balance of solve time and accuracy. As you can see into the following figure, I have applied the mesh control on different regions to optimize the balance for my solving time and making the model more accurate. Now I'm going to apply the mesh control between the connectors to make it more refined. As you can see, I can simply select the connecting surfaces and apply the mesh control with the elemental size. Press done, and I'll just go and run the mesh again. Usually mesh solver time doesn't take long when it comes to remeshing. So just quickly remesh it again, and there you go. You can see the refined meshing between the connected surfaces. Now the next step is we'll apply a torque to the center rotor. The fifth percentile of human can apply 16.5 Newton meter of torque to the steering wheel of this size. Since we are analyzing this a symmetric model, we will cut that value into 1/3. After running the analysis, we can review shear, axial and bending loads of the virtual linkage rod, as well as the solve for the contact reaction forces developed between the latch finger and hatch flange. To determine the contact forces, I'll quickly go through the results, list result forces, and I'll select the contact friction force between the two contacting surfaces. And then you can find out the resultant force. The multiplying this resultant force by 3 is less than 500 Newton, which is the requirement for the properly sealed hatch. So design needs to be changed. Let's try by moving the connecting rod attachment 10 mm further away from the pivot. This should add additional contact force without requiring the additional torque. So I'll just go again with the results. Result contacting force between the contacting surfaces. Success, 221 Newton. This small change increased the contact force by 38%. We are now safe past the 500 Newton minimum. SolidWorks 2022 adds a new functionality that refines the setup process and provides under the hood enhancement that speed up the performance and increase the solution accuracy. When collaborating with others while performing design work focused on facilities, often you need to share your design data using alternative file format like IFC. SolidWorks 2022 has focused on improving both the efficiency and reliability of saving the IFC file formats out for other design tools to leverage. Additionally, 2022 has improved its flexibility when reading the IFC files as well. Now, when you open an IFC file, you can choose to filter the specific object types to import, avoiding the need to open unnecessary geometry and focus on just the information you need to work with. For an example, your task may only require the walls, floor, and the furniture within the building, as we are selecting in the following video. All of this means the imported file both open faster but also do not contain the overly complex geometry for the specific design. As you can see into the figure, that it's not taking a long processing time to open the IFC files, and only showing the specific information which we have chosen. Also, the new SolidWorks 2020 has the ability to better support for the DXF and DWG file formats from the part file. Components often contain the color information that is important for manufacturing processes, such as the color of sketches, bend lines, and other information. Now, when using the export to DXF and DWG file from the part file and enabling to include these objects, their color will be honored in the output of the files. This is extremely valuable for downstream the operation when color can represent different manufacturing processes or parameter for NC tool equipments.
While going through design process, cosmetic and appearance changes regularly. Understanding and updating these changes should happen regardless of when or how we open our files. So let me change the appearance of these components of Nemo assembly. Let's do one more. And SolidWorks 2022 ensures that the appearance of components are correct and updated. This is achieved by automatically resolving lightweight components that have an update on graphical or appearance regardless if any features have changed since the component were last saved, as you can see on the screen. Previous version of SolidWorks introduced a unique simplified way to create complex textures by leveraging unique appearances on faces, bodies, or components. Textures can be created on those surfaces to generate complex geometry without any hassle. Now, SolidWorks 2022 delivers increased performance and responsiveness when creating these complex and highly detailed textures. As a result, you can apply them more without sacrificing performance. SolidWorks 2022 introduced a texture-based cosmetic threads. These cosmetic threads not only looks great, but also make it easier to spot the components which have threads. These threads will be used for any type of feature that includes cosmetic threads, as well from manually created threads to the new start feature, and of course to the whole widget, as you can see it on this feature. Finally, performance is always critical to saving us time. Let me unhide so the seed, and yes, so performance is always critical to saving us time. SolidWorks 2022 has increased the frame rate when rotating parts and assemblies with silhouette edge by over 10%, saving you time every single zoom, pan, and rotate.
Welcome to the new SolidWorks Plastics. SolidWorks Plastics 2022 adds new features and horsepower to solve more complex problems with a greater ease. This plastic cover is bolted to two hoist hooks on either side of the hatch. Since it has an asymmetric design, both the right and left-handed version are required for the Nemo submarine. We'll start by adding a material to the plastic injection analysis. The material database is the key to any plastic simulation, and this year we have added 100 new material models and updated over 1500 material to improve the fill, pack and wrap accuracy. For this part, we'll choose a Delaline material. The new injection location advisor gives us immediate feedback on where to place the injection point. It even automatically solves for the optimum pull direction based on your geometry. But for this model, we have decided to go with a sketch-based runner using the updated simplified runner tool. Just click the sketch segment and choose the dimension. The new flip dimension button makes it even easier to build your custom runner, and now there is no need to define the number of elements for each segment. It's computed automatically. As you can see into the following figure, I'm just adding the dimensions for the runner system, and with that flip button I can just interchange it. Perfect. We need a family mold to create a cavities for both the right and left-handed component. In Plastic 2022, we can use the new symmetry boundary conditions. This will create a virtual opposite-handed cavity in one step. Simply click on a plane and that cut through the spur, and the new cavity associated with the runner will be there. But what if you need a family mold with multiple cavities for the same part? The new cyclic boundary condition that allows you to create the additional virtual cavities in a circular pattern. Just click the center, spur the sketch line, and the number of cavities you want are done. And of course, if you choose to model your runner system using the solid geometry, both the symmetry and the cyclic boundary condition can also be used. When it comes to time to solve the analysis, the new runner button is the only right click away from the top of the tree. And when analyzing your field pack cool wrap studies, turning the symmetry option allow you to visualize the full virtual cavity. Actually, my CPU is crunching some time because there are few applications running in the background. Okay, so SolidWorks Plastics 2022 combine additional functionality, simpler pre-processing, powerful automation to get the accurate plastic injection simulation results faster.
Whether we are working with in-house or clients manufacturing, quality assurance is key to ensuring consistency with our products. Let's see how SolidWorks Inspection 2022 simplify and automate QA operations. The major changes in SolidWorks Inspection 2022 is it supports NX files and the much anticipated SolidWorks drawing file format as highlighted in the video just before. Now we can start the project by starting with standalone application where we can directly import the SolidWorks drawing, then extraction of required part information such as description, part number, that's description, part number, and revision is simply a click. The same smart extraction method is used to collect dimensional and tolerance characteristics as required for the report. An additional surface profile tolerance note is ballooned and extracted. You will see SolidWorks identifies GD and T symbol precision and geometric tolerance indicators, which will all be carried downstream into your first article or in process reports. Continuing through the extraction process, hole callouts and geometric tolerances are ballooned and remapped to the project's bill of characteristics. Investigating this balloon 5, which is home to multiple dimensional requirements, SolidWorks Inspection automatically identifies each and has broken them into two sub-balloons, 5.1 and 5.2, as shown in the table. Repeating these simple steps for the required tolerances and dimensional callout is a breeze. No manual data entry required. Let's say, what if we want to use 3D path? SolidWorks Inspection 2022 has dramatically upgraded the support for SolidWorks path file. So let me add 3D path directly into the inspection projects alongside the current 2D sheet. So this is our 2D sheet and this is our current 3D path file. The extraction process of geometric tolerances and positional information is same as in the 2D drawing, but now ballooned under 3D paths. As you can see, I will be ballooning those 4 bits. During the assembly of this bracket, a few critical welds along with some surface finish requirements are also required to be inspected. Inspection 2022 now fully supports importing SolidWorks assemblies to ensure proper fit, form and function with all manufactured and assembled items. With the bill of characteristics created, this package can now be saved. Let me extract those 3 tolerances and geometrical data. So now it can be saved or published with all the associative 2D and 3D data without having to access any of the drawn paths or assemblies inside of SolidWorks CAD. The inspection report can be generated and include both 2D and 3D PDFs along with the necessary Excel documentation. And that Excel documentation, as you can see it. SolidWorks inspection is also available directly inside SolidWorks itself as an add-in. New in Inspection 2022 is full support for API, which can be found in What's New SolidWorks 2022.
In any mechatronic systems, electrical design plays a very important role. And in SolidWorks, we have brought multidisciplinary engineering under one ecosystem. Creating electrical information in SolidWorks is no longer a lengthy process. Adding connection points has become much more easier. Let's go to Tools, SolidWorks Electrical, and we can see all the different C points options. Let's create a C point from manufacturer part. In the dialog box, we can browse for different manufacturer parts. Let's select this one. As we can see, SolidWorks has created a table which shows the circuits that can be associated or the C points that can be created. A simple selection of sketch point or edge will create multiple C points at a time. As we can see, SolidWorks is creating multiple C points for the selection that we have made one by one. We don't have to go to SolidWorks electrical library visit anymore to create electrical information component or to create C points. As we can see on the screen that all the selection points have successfully created C points. Let's go to SolidWorks electrical and let's create C points from manufacturer part again. As we can see, the previous manufacturer part is already selected, and the terminals that haven't been associated with a C point, we can update those and add multiple C points further to it. How would you protect the junction between contacts and wires to eliminate electrical failures? Backshells are used and SolidWorks now supports them. Two harnesses from the battery to the control panel and external plug are created in SolidWorks electrical schematics. In SolidWorks, these two harnesses are routed. Now that the routes are in place, you can address the wire and the contacts problem. Adding backshells to the connectors removes the stress between contacts and wires. Backshells are available in Design Library, Routing, Electrical, Inline Component. A 45-degree spin coupling was used and mated to the connector. One more connector with a backshell will need adjustment of the harness to go through the backshell. Right-click and choose Edit Route for the harness that is in red. And select the body of the backshell, right-click and choose Edit Route Alignment. Select the spline of the harness and then the axis of the backshell. The harness adjusts and go through the backshell. Efficient use of backshells during design will protect the junction between contacts and wires, eliminating downstream manufacturing delays and costly redesigns. Creating harness drawings and tables manually takes time and can be error-prone. Flatten route in SolidWorks automates this process and now supports backshell. Flattening this red harness will include backshells along with the harness and connectors in its 3D position and will show them in appropriate locations. In Flatten Route dialog box, choose what details of documentation you will need to include, like manufacture, display 3D connectors, and check mark for drawing options. Choosing OK does produce the harness drawing with connectors, backshells, tables, and callouts automatically and saves time for engineers to tackle other technical challenges.
SolidWorks Flow Simulation 2022 offers some exciting new plots and ability to analyze results across different projects. We are currently testing a new high-powered LED lamp for the Nemo submersible. This new lamp can run at 3 different brightness levels giving a user more option for different underwater environments. There is also a mixed power setting that will allow each of these 3 pairs of LEDs to run at either 2, 3 or 4 watts. Our mission is to determine which configuration will operate at the lowest overall temperature. Running a transient analysis while switching the lamp through the different power settings will give us a valuable information about how the lamp will cool down and heat up on the external water temperature. The Transient Explorer is a powerful tool that allows us to visualize the result through a transient analysis. SolidWorks Flow Simulation 2022 can now display the flux plot in Transient Explorer, allowing us to get in-depth numerical results on how power is moving through the complex system. As you can see into the following figure, the green arrow describes how the flux is moving through the system. Let us create. Now we can also create a new equation goal after running the analysis that can process value of other calculated goals. Let us create a quick equation goal that will compute the maximum temperature of all the LED lamps over the entire transient analysis. We have also ran several steady-state studies in new experimental power mode. As you can see, the equation goal I have already created, and from there we can just see the history graph which suggests the transient analysis over there. Now we have run several steady-state studies in a new experimental power mode where each LED lamp can set to a different power setting. These experiments can determine if there are optimal configuration that maximize brightness and maximize the heat at the circuit board. Comparing the results between the project is necessary to understand similarities and differences, but simply putting 2 plots side by side is not always helpful. A new merge option allows us to collect multiple results and highlight the overall maximum minimum value between the project in one combined plot. A new difference plot allows us to create a plot that displays the difference from one project to the different project. This new compare plot option will help us to gain a ton of insight into the effect of experimental power modes. The scene plot has also been updated to store model orientation, zoom and part visibility, so creating that perfect scene will allow also retain the display setting to view it perfectly every time. Regardless of your current view state, we may want to add some props to the scene to highlight location of interest. Now when we copy the scene of plot from one project to another, the probes are copied as well. SolidWorks Flow Simulation 2022 keeps you in control of results by providing a powerful new plot and expand the flexibility to review the shared results for multiple projects.